Hey guys, Mike just checking in here on the progress on the Chevelle. Well, for those who don't know, I've had this car for a long time. It just dawned on me the other day that I've had this car for nearly 20 years. Some may say that might be too long to have a car project, but hey, people I know who have cars from their childhood that are still building them, working on them, and stuff like that. But what that tells you, when you own a car that long, and you start taking on major tasks, what I've got going on right now, you start to see some of your work that you did in the past, which may have been passable at the time, but now you're like, what were you thinking? But hey, we learn, we grow, we improve. So the current project I got going on with the Chevelle was to replace the dash, install the RTX Dakota digital gauges, do some cleanup work under there. Also put in a new Vintage Air SureFit system, which wasn't available when I put the first Vintage Air in. So they came out with one, so we upgraded. So we did that, and of course, you uncover things. You look at some wiring. The original gauges I had in here, just to give you a little history, went from the original Chevelle sweep style Speedo to 6 individual gauges from Stuart Warner. So you had all those wirings, all those sending units, all the lighting, everything for that. So you had a big cluster of wiring coming out. Put the Dakota stuff in, and then you start to discover all the little things that you came across that you've done in the past, for better or for worse. For those, the history of this car was, it's originally a small block Chevy car, drove that way for several years, did an LS swap, back before LS swaps were really kind of catching on. Knew that was the wave, seemed like the smart thing to do at the time. But originally, it was carbureted. So it was a carbureted LS swap, but we had to have an electronic fuel injection. We had the circuitry for that. Then, went to throttle body, the MSD atomic system. Improved drivability, start-stop, things like that. More electronics. Then stepped up to the current induction system, the Edelbrock ProFlow 4, which is a fantastic system. I can't say enough good things about it, and thank you to the fine folks at Edelbrock for taking care of me on that and helping me with the tech support and some of the drivability issues, or actually say startup issues we had at the beginning. We had a bad ECM. Nothing major, but we got it sorted out. So again, as you can see, you're adding more and more electronics over time. We added fuel pump, stuff for the electronic fuel injection, more and more stuff. We updated the fuel system in the back to a stealth, aeromotive tank with an intake fuel pump. Again, all these things are being added on. So you become where you're stacking systems on top of each other. So, a project that I originally thought would take about 6 weeks, 2 months on the outside, barring interruptions from, running a household, doing home improvement, whatnot, to working on the car on the weekends and sometimes after work. Doesn't always plan. What we discovered, it's very easy to get distracted. You're taking stuff out, you're into it, up to your eyeballs, you see something. Well, let's take care of that. Something else, let's take care of that. Oh, let's look at this. It really starts to snowball, and it can stall a project really easy. So the top tip I have is try to stay focused on the task at hand. Yesterday when I was putting in the sending units for the Dakota digital gauges, I had to move some stuff around, pull some stenders out, run some wiring. I came across, I'll call it a rat's nest. It's not a rat's nest, but it's a bit of a mess. It's all solid, but it's a mess. The OCD in me kicks in, and I've got to fix something. So then I'm spending a couple hours figuring out what the heck, why did I do it this way? Where does this go? Yada, yada, yada. Next thing you know, I'm not finishing up the stuff under the dash. So got a little sidetracked there. Used half a day practically messing around with stuff under the hood. Today I'm back on track, working under the dash, wrapping up the Dakota digital, wrapping up the wiring here under the dash, get that all settled in, then moving on. So if you're out there and you're working on a car, especially one that that you have some history in, that you've done a lot of upgrades over the time, one, be easy on yourself and say, that's what I had to work with at the time, and it's working, and it's been working all these years. Remember, this car, for those who don't know, this is the first time it's been worked on really consistently in a garage. I'm not counting the time we did the LS swap at the Roshan's house. That's a story for another time, but thank you guys so much for bailing me out and, housing my car for like 10 weeks. So anyways, this car was built basically in a carport. And the thing was, where it was, it couldn't be left apart. I mean, I rebuilt the rear end with the help of a very dear friend, Anthony Roshan. I had to pull the rear end out, put the car up on jack stand so it looked like it was sitting on the ground. Anyways, long story short, working in a garage and having a place where you can actually properly work on a car is night and day difference in the quality of work you can perform, and obviously the finished product speaks for itself. So a lot of stuff was done in the economy of time, and again, finances and what you had available at you. Now, learned a lot more stuff, able to do a lot more things. It's really, we're putting the polish on it now. The car looks amazing without the help of the fine folks that, there are so many people that go unlisted. I'm going to put something together for those who have been involved in this build. But TMI Products with their amazing interior, and Aaron and Kevin Hanmisek over at Orange County Hot Rods just really put a shine on this car, or lack of, on this car, that it far exceeded anything I'd ever dreamed of having. So, but I'm planning on doing a thank you video for all those who've been involved in helping me get this car where it is today. It's a car beyond that I ever thought I could build. So, but having it here, I'm just getting things made right. I'm taking the time. The car's been pretty much out for the season. I started it back in, I think, April, May, and it just turned into just this can of worms. But we're tackling them on. You just kind of stay focused on the project at hand and take those little detours along the line to get you to the final product. I mean, we've even gotten to the point to where I'm changing out the seat belts, updating those. So you can see we're really just kind of accessorizing and adding on. And you can see how it can just start to overwhelm you. So back onto the Dakota Digital, getting that finish up, getting the dash back together. So we can get the steering column back in, get the steering linkage all hooked back up. Then I can tackle what's under the hood and get that taken care of. Other things we're looking at doing is 71 was the first year that AC Delco came out with side post terminals. I've got a dual terminal battery in it. Looks kind of, I'm not that thrilled with it. I think it'd be cleaner. I'm putting in a side post battery in it. So, Group 78 side post, pretty much what came in the car. People are like, oh crap, you're asking for a headache of work, but not really. Some hardware changes. We're going to address some of the shortcomings of the side post, and yet have a cleaner engine bay and actually a more trouble-free system in that as well. Always try to build my cars to be serviceable, so you can get the stuff to work on it if you ever have to, and also reliable. For those who knew me when I had my 68 Nova back in high school, that was probably one of the most unreliable cars I ever had. How many times I've been out on a date and it'd get breaking down on the freeway or something stupid like that. So reliability, serviceability, and of course, try to do it where looks come into play. So that's just the thing, is when you can see how a project like this can stall. And this is a car that's, for most people, would think it's pretty much done, but they're not looking below the surface. So hang in there. We'll be back at it. We'll be back in the shows. Hopefully Saturday will be our kickoff. So, or Saturday, excuse me, September. Hopefully we'll have this thing back on the road, making some canyon runs. So stay tuned for more. Thank you.